as property investors, what we want to do is that we want to save as much as possible, right? But now, for new property investors, the challenge is when I'm seeing the price on Property 24, I think that that's the amount that I need to pay. Can I really negotiate on the price of the property?
Yeah. Guys, again, just coming back to what is price determined by. What you're seeing on Property 24 is not what properties are selling for. What you're seeing on Property 24 is what properties are being advertised for. Right? We've got different tools as real estate agents where I can see every single house in this country. When was it bought? How much was it bought for? Who bought it? And was there a bond taken out on it? So you see, already that gives us a different platform. I can now give you any numbers. I can tell you in the suburb, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms are on the market for 1.5. But 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms are selling, if I look at a year's average, at 1.2. That then gives you what the negotiating room actually is. So that's one thing. The other thing is, without getting too much into it, we are moving now into a market, ladies and gentlemen, where we are seeing an oversupply of property and a shrinking pool of buyers. So when you've got less buyers and they've got a lot of options on the market, obviously there's less buyers because of interest rates and things like that. So who's got the power in that dynamic? The buyers. So understanding the type of market that you are in, if you go onto the website and you see 20 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms that are on the market for 1.5, our prices, and there's only one of you that's looking that day, is the price negotiable? Oh yes, absolutely. But if you go onto the market and there's 20 buyers and there's one house, what happens to the value? It climbs. So for you guys as investors, keep an eye on that. Watch the stock. You gotta really get on with your agent and have a good relationship. So always, I'm a relationships-based person. I believe in relationships over anything. Before business, whatever, relationships first. I would not, if you haven't got access to that data, you are thumb-sucking. Do not make business based on a hunch and thumb-sucking. Sit and look at the data and pull a report of the last 5 years before you buy into that complex. Ask that agent for a report. Let's say you're buying 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 77 square meters. Ask for a report for the last 5 years. What are those units selling for as an average? Then go on to Property 24, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, put in the size, and now look at what's on the market. You are always going to see a gap. What it's advertised for, what they are selling for, and to answer your question, that's where the negotiating power is. Yeah.
So Ivan, I've got a question. That when it comes to buying properties, it's huge. It's huge, and I think our people do not necessarily understand what they are doing. Because I remember we were viewing a property when it was 2 weeks ago. It took us 30 minutes to view that property. We opened the taps, we went underneath everything, and closed the doors, locked, opened again. What would you say are key mistakes that buyers or even investors are doing, especially when it comes to the viewing? What are they not looking at?
It's much like dating. On the first date, you see the good things. And I see it every time. If I can say, go back a second time, okay, go do the viewing. You're gonna see everything right up. You're gonna fall in love. And if you take your wife and she falls in love, it's over, right? But go back a second time when you've really slept on it, and now go in with fresh eyes. The first day you walk through that house, it's infatuation. It's looking good, the light is right, it's 3 p.m., the light is good, and we tend to rush in and rush out. So to answer your question in a practical way, what are the things to look for? And I want to give you guys things that you can take back and use in any situation. Right? Are you guys familiar with, there are these 2 phrases in real estate, patent defect and latent defect. Something that is a patent defect, it's patently obvious. The laws in real estate say, as much as there's a lot of responsibilities on us as agents to disclose what's wrong with the house, and we must, I'll get into that. And I think that's going to be the biggest part of my thing today is disclosing. But there's a big thing called buyer beware. Ladies and gentlemen, the responsibility to inspect a property thoroughly lies on you. If you did not open the cupboard and see that there was a crack in there, that's on you. You have to do a reasonable and thorough inspection of that house. What the responsibility on us and the sellers is to disclose latent or hidden defects. I don't expect you, Baba, to go up into the ceiling. Okay. If the seller knows there's cracks and things and rot up in the ceilings, which you can't see with the naked eye, they must disclose that. And if they didn't, and you find that out, you go to your lawyer, we sue them. Okay, but things that are obvious, if you didn't open the tap and see there's no water coming out, you can't come to me 3 months later and say there's no water. Make sense? So in practical ways, if you're seeing there's air cons, where's the remote? Does that thing actually switch on? Because that agent on the ad, oh, property comes with air cons in every room, there's no remote. You know what I mean? So do a reasonable and thorough inspection. Buyer beware, buyer beware. If you could have seen it with your naked eye, it's your responsibility to do a valid inspection. That's why I'm saying go twice. Okay, and yeah.
To add on that, right, I mean, I don't expect property investors or first-time buyer to understand the cost implications that are associated to whatever. For instance, maybe somebody can be seeing a crack, not necessarily understanding there might be a tree that's actually causing this crack. So it's very important that when we go for viewing, you go with somebody who knows this. Because ultimately what you can do, here's the thing about property investing, right? Property investors go to a property, they see maybe a crack or they see that it's a tile that's not matching with others and then they want to move the opposite direction. Whereas you can actually use that to your advantage. So maybe there might be a huge crack and then you're leaving it only to find out that the cost implication was not so bad. So I'd actually say that it's very important that you go with somebody who is experienced. And when I'm saying experienced, we did this last time. We went with somebody and then the guy was like, James, don't stress. 100,000 will be enough. You start the project, 150. You're like, but you said 100. He says we still need 50 more thousand. And then you really ask yourself, what is going on? Because it goes back to the numbers. If we didn't position ourselves correctly, it's going to come back to us. So how do you save yourself from that? I would pay that 1.5. If I'm getting a contractor to come through with me, I need to pay 1.5. I know this is an investment. I'm sure of. So I actually urge you guys to actually make sure that when you go for viewings, don't even take wife or husband with. Go with the contractor. If the contractor says it's fine, then you can call them.
But I think you touched on something there that if you see a little bits of damage here and there, this tile is out, maybe there's little scuffings on the wood in the kitchen. If you see that those things are not in order, does that mean you must turn away from the property? I don't know if you want to touch on this, but I can give my little 2 cents. Who here sold a car with? If you sold a car with, you know where you put your car online, they come and see your car do an inspection. Will take every single car that is given to them. I mean, my wife and I sold a car that literally was limping. Tanya now he limped it out of my office, but he took it. But what is the one thing that company has mastered more than anything else? They buy it at the right price. So I think we might move into this where he's talking about how to use those things to negotiate. If market value on this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom is 1.5 million, you then take your contract and then he says repairs are going to cost 200,000. When you then put in your offer to purchase, it now gives you that sort of additional negotiating power to then say to the seller, but I'm going to spend my money to fix X, Y, Z. If you don't know what needs to be fixed and what it's going to cost, you will pay the 1.5 and you sit with a problem. But what he's saying is if you bring a person that is knowledgeable about what things cost, you are able to negotiate that in the price with precise and accurate figures.
Switch it up.
Three, 2, 1. Invest like a pro.